Hey guys, welcome again to the Maths Club. If you are just joining us, so welcome. We're going to continue today with this series that we've started on fractions, decimals, and approximation. So you might want to check the pop-up that will appear at the top right to see all the things I've been doing so far on this particular topic. Today we're going to be looking at basic operations in fraction, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and where they are like combined operations, a plus, maybe a minus, and a division in one particular question. Let's get started. So we'll start with the addition, right? And as always, we're going to start with questions. So this question says we should add 3 over 4 plus 1 over 3. So it says that we should add 3 over 4 plus 1 over 3, right? So before we can be able to do this, we need to find the LCM of the denominators. So what is the LCM of 3 and 4, right? That is the least common multiple, and we treated that in the previous video. So how can we get the least common multiple of 3 and 4? Based on what we did in the previous video. So look at 3. So 3, if I divide 3 by 3, this is 1. If I divide 4 by 2, this is 2. Remainder 2, 2 with a remainder of 1, right? So I can bring this and I say 3 is giving me 3, right? And 4 is giving me 2 times 2. So like we said in that previous video, we picked the highest occurrences of each value. So how many times did 2 occur? 2 occurred twice. So that would be 2 times 2 times. How many times did 3 occur? 3 occurred only once, right? So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12, right? So this is the LCM that we're going to use to add. So if I divide, so I'll do a long division and I'll put the LCM here, right? So first step, find the LCM between the two denominators, right? So now how am I going to do this addition? This LCM, I'll divide it by 4. That will be 12 divided by 4. If I divide 12 by 4, what am I going to get? I'm going to get 3, right? I'm going to get 3. Then I'll multiply that value with the value at the numerator, which is the value at the top. So that will be 3 times 3 would give me 9, right? So plus 12 in 3, that is 4, right? 12 divided by 3, that's 4. Then 4 times the numerator, which is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. So by the time I had these guys, that will be 13 over 12, right? So if I wanted to express 13 over 12 in terms of mixed numbers, what would that be? Great. 1 whole number, 1 over 12. Very good. You got it right. So 1 whole number, 1 over 12, or 13 over 12. Great. So let's do this other number. Which is another question. We have 2 whole number, 3 over 4, plus 1 whole number, 5 over 6, right? Plus 1 whole number, 5 over 6. To easily solve this question, we need to convert it to our improper fraction format. So how did we say we were going to do that in the previous video that we've done? So we said 4 times 2 is 8, right? 8 plus 3 is 11. So this will be 11 over 4 plus 6 times 1 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. So that will be 11 over 6, right? So the same process that we used to find the LCM, try it out yourself and tell me what to get as the LCM. Welcome back. So what did you get as the LCM? You got 12. Very good. So 12. So 12 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 11 is 33. Plus 12 divided by 6. 12 divided by 6 is what? 2. 2 times 11 is 22. Right? So by the time we add these two guys, 33 plus 22 is going to give us 55. If I divide it by 12, right, this is our answer in terms of improper fraction, or we could leave it in terms of mixed numbers, right? Or what? How many times can 12 go in 55? You can press your calculator to check that. That is 4, right? Because 12 times 4 is 48. That what will be remaining? 55 minus 48 is 7, right? So 4 number 7 over 12, right? This should be our answer. Great. 55 over 12, or 4 number 7 over 12. Very good. So that is it about addition, right? Simple. So we go to subtraction, right? So subtraction, there is something I want to introduce before we treat the subtraction, right? So we have something called BODMAS. So BODMAS, right? So there are different names for this. You can see some people will call it PEMDAS and all of that. It's still basically the same concept, right? So if you are dealing with any operation, always choose the brackets. So the B stands for brackets. This is the order, this is the precedence. The O stands for off, right? The D stands for division, right? The M stands for multiplication. So multiplication. And then the A stands for addition. And the S stands for subtraction. Right, so subtraction. So this is the order. So if there is a bracket first in our expression, we have to resolve the bracket first. If there's an O of the off is same thing as multiplication, right? The D, if there's a division, division, multiplication, then addition. This is like the order of precedence that it takes. So if you have this particular question that says 2 number 2 over 3 minus open brackets 2 number 1 over 2 minus 1 O number 4 over 5, right? So before we can actually be able to solve this from our board mass, we know that we're meant to treat the bracket first, right? So we have to treat the bracket first. That will be 2 number 2 over 3. What is outside of the bracket? What is just outside the bracket is minus. We have to open the brackets with this minus, right? So minus times 2.5 is minus 2.5, right? Minus times minus is plus. Right, so I'm still going to treat that later on, but minus times minus is plus, right? And then what am I going to have? Only number 4 over 5. So you need to expand the bracket first. After expanding the bracket, the next step is to actually turn all of these mixed numbers to improper fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. 8 divided by 3 minus 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 over 2 plus 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9, so 9 over 5, right? So this is another time again for you to pause the video and try to find the LCM of 3, 2, and 5. Welcome back. So the LCM of 3, 2, and 5, if you did that, right, is 30. So if you got 30, congratulations, you did this very well. So 30 divided by 3 is 10. 10 times 8 is 80. Minus 30 divided by 2 is 15. 15 times 5 is 75, right? Plus 30 divided by 5 is 6. 6 times 9 is what? Is 54, right? Great. So 80 minus 75 is what? Is 5. Then 5 plus 54 is going to give you 59. So what you're going to have is 59 over 30, right? This is in improper fraction. So you could also leave this as a proper fraction, or you can say or what? Or this will give me 30 can only go in 59 once, right? So remainder of 29 over 30, right? So this is actually the solution to this particular question, right? 59 over 30 or 1 O number 29 over 30. Now let's look at this next question. So 2 O number 3 over 4 minus 1 O number 5 over 6. Right, so you might want to pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back. So the first step is to change this guy to improper fraction. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So 11 over 4 minus 6 times 1 is 6 plus 5 is 11, right? 11 over 6. Once again, you can pause this video and try to find the LCM of 4 and 6. Welcome back. Right, so the LCM of 4 and 6 is 12, right? So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 11 is 33. Minus 12 divided by 6 is 2. 2 times 11 is 22, right? So by the time we resolve this, 33 minus 11 is 33 minus 22, sorry, is 11 over 12, right? So this should be our answer. Great. Well done. So that is that about subtraction. So we're moving to multiplication. So the question for multiplication says we have 2 O number 2 over 3 multiplied by 1 O number 1 over 7, right? So first step is convert this to improper fraction. I want to pause the video and try it out yourself. Welcome back. So 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So 8 divided by 3 multiplied by 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. So 8 divided by 7. So by the time we multiply this to 8 times 8, if you press your calculator, that'll give you 64. Right, 64 divided by 3 times 7. So we multiply the numerators together. So that'll be 8 times 8 divided by 3 times 7. 3 times 7 is 21, right? So if I divide 64 by 21, what O number would it give me? So it will give me 3 O number 1 over 21, right? So let's see what our answer is. Great, 3 O number 1 over 21, right? Or you could say, so instead of me saying equals, I could just say or 3 number 1 over 21. Let's see this next question. It says 3 over 4 of 1 over 2. If you remember when I was talking about BOD math, I said of is something as saying multiplication, right? So it's just simply multiplying. So if we were to do this, it would be 3 over 4 multiplied by 1 over 2, right? So if I multiply this, multiply the numerator together and denominator together, so 3 times 1 is 3, over 4 times 2 is 8. So the answer here is 3 over 8. Great. Let's move over to division now. So division, what happens when we want to divide? So let's look at an example. This example says 2 number 1 over 3 divided by 2 number 2 over 3. First things first, that will convert this to improper fraction, right? So if I do that, right, so that'll be 7 over 3 divided by, if I convert this to improper fraction, that will be 8 over 3, right? So whenever you have a division, what you just do is that for the right hand side, this is the right hand side, Abi, you move the bottom to the top or the numerator to the top, and this the top to the bottom. What do I mean? So you have to rewrite it and say 7 over 3, right, and 3 over 8. So we just found the inverse, right? We just inverted it, right? And when you find the inverse, it will no longer be division, it will now be multiplication, right? So find the inverse, right? Take the inverse of the right hand side and convert the sign to multiplication. So if you look at it now, without us even going for that, 3 at the top can divide this 3 at the bottom, right? Since 3 at the top can divide 3 at the bottom, and to remain 1 and 1 here. So what will we do? 7 times 1 is 7, right? And 1 times 8 is 8, right? So if you can see things that can cancel out, of course, the what is at the top must cancel what is at the bottom. You can't cancel 3 sideways. No, you have to cancel from, if you are canceling from the top, you must find a match at the bottom, right? A multiple of that number at the bottom. So when we did this, what did we have our answer? 7 over 8. So let's check our answer. Very good, 7 over 8. Now let's look at this other question. It says 1 whole number 5 over 6 divided by what? Divided by 5. First things first is that convert this to a mixed number, right? So that would be 11 over 6 divided by 5, right? So when you have divided by 5, like saying 5 over 1, 2, right? 5 divided by 1 is 5. 5 is 5, right? So what did I say we'll do? We'll take the inverse of the right hand side. So that will be 11 over 6 multiplied by what? 1 over 5, right? And if you solve that, 11 times 1 is 11, 6 times 5 is 30. So that will be 11 over 30. Great, great. Let's solve this last question. This one combines all the things we've been doing: subtraction, addition, and division. Remember our board mass, right? So the question says 2 whole number 3 over 4 minus 1 whole number 5 over 6 divided by 2 whole number 3 over 4 plus 1 whole number 5 over 6 divided by 5. Right, so we'll solve the numerator first, then we'll solve the denominator later on. Let's take the top first. So that will be 2 over 3 over 4 minus 1 number 5 over 6. Right, so how can we resolve this? Change this to improper fraction and solve. Welcome back. So let's solve it together. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. So 11 over 4 minus 6 times 1 plus 5, that is 11 over 6. Right, so the LCM of this is 12. 12 in 4, 3. 3 times 11, 33, right? Minus 12 in 6, 2. 2 times 11, 22, right? So this is 11 over 12 because 33 minus 22 is 11. So the bottom, right? At the bottom, we have 2 number 3 over 4 plus 1 number 5 over 6 divided by 5, right? So how are we going to solve this? So the first is that convert all of this to mixed number, up to improper fraction, right? So 4 times 2 plus 11, 4 times 2 plus 3, that is 11 over 4, plus 6 times 1 plus 5, that is 11 over 6 divided by 5, right? So from board mass, right, bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and so on, you see that division comes before addition. So we need to take care of the division aspect, which is these two guys, right? So let's take care of that. So that is 11 over 4 plus 11 over 6. To take care of this division, we take the inverse, 11 over 5, right? So let's solve this. So that is 11 over 4 plus 11 times 1 is 11. 6 times 5 is 30, right? So what is the least common multiple between these two guys? right? You can also try that by yourself. We've done a lot of examples on, and if you're having any problem, you can look at the video that we did on LCM and GCF, right? Greatest common GCD or HCF. So the least common multiple between these two is 60, right? 60 divided by 4 is 15, right? 15 times 11 is 165, right? Plus 60 divided by 30 is 2. 2 times 11 is 22. So by the time you add these two guys, you'll be having 187 over 60, right? So we have resolved. So if we resolve the top, we had 11 over 12, and the bottom we had 187 over 60. So let's now replace them. So we had 11 over 12, just to confirm. Yes, and we had what? 1, so divided by 187 divided by 60, right? So let's now break it down. So like saying 11 over 12 divided by 187 over 60, right? So for us to take care of this division, we have to do what? We have to take the inverse, right? So times 60 divided by 187. Very good, right? So we can see, if you look at it very well, if we check calculator, right? 11 can go through 187. So that would be 11 year 1, 11 year what? 17, right? If you check calculator, 11 times 17 is 187, so we can cancel out those two. 12 2 can cancel out, so 12 year 1, 12 in 60 is what? Is 5, right? So at the end of the day, our final answer is what? 5 over 17, right? So this basically is great. So our final answer is 5 over 17. So this is how we actually do basic operations using fraction, right? If it's a mixed number, make it to be an improper fraction, right? And solve it. If it's something like this, resolve the top first. When you're done, resolve the bottom, then now bring the results and try to solve